So back again with another one. Well, it looks like famous R&B neo soul singer D'Angelo just passed, as you may know by now. So let's break it down. Well, according to the reports, D'Angelo passed from pancreatic cancer in the pancreas, and he was 51 years old. And I didn't realize that he had been around as far as on the music scene for quite a while. You know, he had debuted back in 95. I was 15. I didn't even realize Brown Sugar, or just him period as an artist, was that old. You know, just to let you know how time fly. And of course, you know D'Angelo, he was a talented songwriter. And I don't think that get a lot of credit because, of course, we listen to the songs. But that pen is mightier than the sword. And it's for a reason. Now, a lot of you ain't going to get that. But that's another video. You know, and also, it was him who wrote or co-wrote the song with his Black Man United. That song with all the R&B brothers on there, on the Jason Lyrics soundtrack. It was hella deep on there. I just realized or just figured out he had wrote that. Yeah, that song You Will Know, yeah, he wrote that. So again, we can't say enough how talented that brother was. Now we know he took a hiatus and he was battling with addiction and things and whatnot. And this was a little bit after, I guess I forget the name of that album, but I remember when he had the shirt off or whatever. And all the females, I guess they was saying he a sex symbol. And I remember in the old interview, he was kind of like, well, you know, that ain't really what I'm doing this for. I ain't trying to be all that. Same when he mentioned neo soul, because they got him labeled as a neo soul, R&B neo soul. He was like, I don't consider it neo soul. I just consider it black music. You know, y'all call it what y'all want, and you gotta respect that. He just basically saying, I'm making music that come from my soul, from me. So that's something to be said for. And in my opinion, probably why he took a hiatus, I think, of course, battling with addiction and everything, but just dealing with the dangers of the music industry. You understand? A lot of people don't understand that oftentimes that's part of the life. They promote and they encourage you to not only, into addiction, but to abuse the said drug of choice, whether it be alcoholism, certain type of drugs, whatever it is. Not only you urge to do it, but to abuse it. So this is why a lot of these artists, regardless of which genre across the board, it seems like a lot of them have a battle with addiction, which causes health symptoms or whatever, and it's kind of like they damn near crash and burn. And I'm not even saying in his particular case, I'm just saying in general all across the board. But he did battle with addiction, and I think a lot of that had to do with the industry. Now, of course, not everything, because I'm not too familiar with his upbringing. I mean, we all got trauma. We all got things we dealing with. But there's definitely a trend when it comes to these musicians and addiction. So I just want to throw that in because they said he died from pancreatic cancer. And that's the pancreas, that's the stomach. It's usually caused from drinking, alcoholism, not enough water. And it's not necessarily if, it's when. You know, it reminds me of a good book everybody needs to read. It's called The Body Keeps the Score. And it does. So take that how you want. But yeah, man, rest in peace, D'Angelo, man. He was definitely one of a kind. real talented brother, man, and a lot of people is shaking their head because it seemed like every week, every other week, we losing somebody. And time is progressing, man. Things is seem like it's happening faster and faster. A lot of folks we grew up off of, whether in movies, TV, etc. They not here with us no more. So, and I mentioned this before, it's a whole new changing of the guard. But with that being said, it just seemed like, if you ask me, the ball ain't being passed properly. And it didn't the generation before that and the generation before that. But it's even seemed worse so. Because it seemed like a lot of people is dying before their time, before they even get a chance to pass the ball or school the new blood on what it is, to be whatever that is and to preserve that. So now it's coming with a whole new manuscript for y'all, man. So y'all really better start paying attention to certain stuff, man, and really instilling certain principles and certain thought processes and ways of life into your children, into your loved ones, man. Because when you up out of here, you up out of here, man. And that's gonna be the end of it. And I ain't gonna go too deep down the rabbit hole, but I just see a lot of stuff developing and undeveloping at the same time. And that's bad or good. But rest in peace, D'Angelo, man. Bad News Brown breaking it down, man. I'm going to be back, man. Don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them, man, because no one knows the moment nor the hour.